Coinbase just rejected the biggest crypto bill ever. CEO Brian Armstrong just said he'd rather have no bill than this one, and he's right. So, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with this Clarity Act, and it's been rejected by Brian Armstrong, and I'm going to get into some clips here to explain what exactly happened today.
Well, I think the high-level principle here is that we can't really have banks come in and try to kill their competition at the expense of the American consumer, right? People in America should be able to earn more money on their money. I think stablecoins are an opportunity for banks. They should be able to build great product lines with this. It's an opportunity for crypto companies. Congress and the laws that get passed, they should really create a level playing field and say, this is allowed, this is not allowed. Now, all American companies, go compete, try to build the best products and services. That's great. What's not great is if the banks can put their thumb on the scale to try to kill some of their competition, and they only pay about, 14 basis points on the average savings account. Consumers should be able to earn 3.8% on their stablecoin rewards. And so we're going to keep fighting for our customers' rights and the 52 million Americans who use crypto every day.
I mean, what would you say to the argument that banks have put forward that because of the role they play in the economy, the loans that they make, if they do wind up seeing billions of dollars, as some have estimated would happen going from banks to stablecoin, they say that could have a big impact on the economy. What's your response to that?
Yeah, well, banks don't have a monopoly on lending money. Actually, crypto is doing quite well in this area as well, and crypto is a technology to update all parts of the financial system, whether it's lending, capital formation, etc. So I think banks do play an important role in the economy and making these loans. Crypto should be allowed to do similar types of activity. We're not engaged in fractional reserve lending. That's an important point, by the way, because the bank license, what that really allows you to do is fractional reserve. The banks don't have all of your money there. That's why there's so much oversight and you can have these runs on the bank. Stablecoins have 100% reserve, right? And they're all the assets now post-Genius are held in this short-term US Treasuries. So in my view, it's actually a safer place to store your money, and crypto companies should be allowed to compete and offer loans just like banks.
So shout out to Brian Armstrong for that, man. He's really standing up for the crypto community. The banks are going to do whatever they can to get their hands on crypto, and the ones that are going to suffer from this is the crypto community. They simply can't stand to see us win. Now let's check this out.
It's January 15th, and here's your update on the Clarity Act. The Senate Banking Committee has postponed their planned markup of the Clarity Act. And here's what Forbes said about it. After reviewing the Senate Banking Committee text over the last 48 hours, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says, I can't support the bill as written, warning that provisions of the tokenized equities, DeFi, and stablecoin rewards would make the package materially worse than the current status quo. Here's my take on it. I have spent years studying this technology, and I know that it has the capacity to unlock financial tools for the everyday person that have consistently been gatekept for the elite. So I support people like Brian Armstrong taking their time with this legislation to make sure that these financial tools are allowed to reach their full potential. I also support the stability of our financial system. So I also support regulation that is meant to protect the everyday person, but I'm not in support of government regulation that supports the status quo for government entities or regulation that predominantly serves the interests of the wealthy and the elite. I am only in support of regulation that supports the everyday person.
I 100% back what this lady's saying. There's no way for the average retail, the average investor to get ahead in today's economy. It's not the economy that our parents grew up in. The middle class has been completely wiped out. The fact that our families before us could take one salary and go on vacations, pay all their bills, live in a household in the suburbs, and a middle class family, own a car, maybe even two cars, and take care of everything, college and all of that. That dream is lost to us. Every family now has to have multiple incomes, two at least, maybe three if the kids are old enough to work. And it's tearing our economy down. It's completely shattered the hope of early retirement, financial freedom, and in order to get ahead of this, the only thing that I can think of to turn to is crypto. Most of our parents worked 40 years for someone they despised just to get that pension or save up for retirement. We're trying to build that freedom in fewer years with crypto, different game, same sacrifice. A lot of our parents showed up to a job they hated, bit their tongue in meetings, played politics with bosses who didn't respect them. Also that at 65 they could finally rest. Personally, I looked at that path and said no, I'd rather risk it all now, suffer differently, and have a shot at freedom in my earlier years. But here's what I didn't understand. My dad's sacrifice was visible. Clock in, clock out, slow, steady march. Same with my mom. Mine is invisible. It's the psychological warfare of volatility. It's the social isolation of believing in something nobody around you understands. It's the discipline to keep stacking when it feels pointless. Different sacrifice, same devotion to a future that isn't guaranteed. I'm not better than him. I'm just playing a different version of the same long game. Man, she couldn't have said that better. She really quoted down to what the crypto investing is like. No one believes in the stuff that we're investing in. People think we're talking foolish madness when we talk about investing in crypto. Anybody that I talk to at work, I ask them what their investment goals look like, what's their financial plan for their future, and nobody has one. Now, I'm 40 and I waited way too long to start my retirement journey, to start my investing journey, so I have to double down and stack my bags and position myself best for my future. I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to play around. So I stay steadfast. I dollar cost average every 2 weeks. As soon as I get my money, I pay my tithes on my money, and then I pay my bills, and the rest of the money goes straight into investments. She says banks are terrified of stablecoins, so they're lobbying Congress to ban something that could save you thousands. Here's what's happening. Traditional banks pay you 0% interest on deposits. Meanwhile, crypto platforms were offering 2 to 4% yield on stablecoins like USDC. The banks hate this. They pressured Congress to ban yield-bearing stablecoins in the Genius Act. This was supposed to keep stablecoins as payment tools rather than investment-like products. But here, there was a loophole. Third parties could still pay rewards. Not anymore. The new Clarity Act draft bans all stablecoin yields and rewards, even from third parties. Section 404 kills it completely, and some believe that there is no valid policy reason for this. It harms U.S. consumers, harms the dollar, harms national security. Who does it help? The banks. By protecting their 0% accounts from competition. Think about it. If stablecoins grow to trillions and offer yield, why would anyone keep money in the bank? Man, this is exactly what I'm thinking. This is the banking lobby writing crypto law. If this passes, the bank wins. So let's go over find this clip here.
That's why I paused to read. He basically goes to state that there's too many issues in this bill with a ban of tokenizing equities, DeFi prohibitions, giving government unlimited access to your records, getting rid of privacy, and most importantly, the draft pretty much removes all stablecoin rewards because banks are trying to write themselves a $6.6 trillion protection bill. Why do we say this? It's because the banks do not want us to be able to make yields off stablecoins.
That's
because
right.
When you are depositing money in your bank account, they pay you a penny. They pay you what? 0.1 interest on anything you deposit, but they don't want to be paying you 4.5 or higher % yield on your stable coins. That's right. I got spit on my face.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. The banks don't want to pay us. They don't want us using these other platforms, these other avenues to get these interest yields on our money. It's our money. And I'm upset, man. I'm currently staking Solana, and this is concerning if they're trying to abolish the yields.
Tokenization is the idea of using then smart contracts or tokens on chain to be able to that represent, say, an underlying security, and so then that tokenized security is a security and would be subject to SEC rules by law. But the idea is that if it's on chain on a blockchain, then there's much more transparency as to where it is. Right now, there's a bit of opacity as to who owns what and where the company usually doesn't even know where its who its shareholders are and where the shareholders reside, where the shares reside. So tokenization has the benefit of potentially having, instead of T+1 now trade date +1 for clearance and settlement, the prospect of maybe T0 now, depending on the instrument. And we have to think about netting and all sorts of other things with respect to some instruments. But in principle, the idea of on-chain delivery versus payment and receipt versus payment, DVP, RVP on-chain, is a prospect of de-risking the markets, making them much more transparent and then sure as far as clearance and settlement, because it's always that the gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment is the real introduces risk into the system.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely, and it's the way the world will be. Here in maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So I think that all of this modernization of the markets, I think, is good. And the trouble that we've seen here over the past few years is that the SEC, unlike historically, it never was necessarily at the vanguard of pushing new innovations. It was always a little bit behind the market, of course. But here recently, it's been almost standing athwart the marketplace, and as it's as all these new innovations were coming about. So that's no more. We're actually embracing it, and I believe that we need to be embracing it to keep the United States at the forefront. As far as cryptocurrencies and whatnot, there were really only 2 countries in the world here in the last few years that were working to make cryptocurrencies illegal, and that was Communist China and the U.S. through the SEC. So that's changed. It's a new day now, and so we want to embrace this new technology.
100%, man. We want to embrace this. I mean, we will be a tokenized world here immediately. It's happening, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. There's nothing we can do to stop it. I mean, we're going to have everything. Real world assets are going to be tokenized. We're going to have tokenized art. We're going to have tokenized businesses. We're going to have tokenized fast food. I mean, everything's going to be tokenized. But this is just what's happening today. Let me know what you guys think, man. Are you guys upset about this? Are you guys good with this? Where do you think this is going to lead, and where do you think we're going? Leave some comments down below. Let's talk about this and see what we can come up with. That's going to do it for this one, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope your portfolio's up. Mine's is still positive. We're doing good over here, and I hope you guys are too. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. God bless.